The child did not know his real name anymore. In the lower decks of Station Varix-9, names did not matter. Only labels mattered. And his label was simple: pile of trash. That was what the overseers called him. That was what the vendors shouted. That was what the alien children laughed when they threw broken parts at him. The station floated between 3 dead systems. It was a place where refuse was sorted and sold. Scrap from wars, broken ships, failed experiments, unwanted species. Humans were rare in the core, not because they were weak, because they were inconvenient, too stubborn, too adaptable, too hard to erase. So when a human child appeared alone in a sealed cargo pod 20 standard years ago, the station authorities did not ask questions. They logged him as salvage. Living salvage. He was assigned to Waste Sector 7. That was where broken things went to die slowly. The child grew there. He learned to breathe air thick with metal dust. He learned to sleep between humming reactors. He learned to eat nutrient sludge scraped from expired containers. He learned to survive. The aliens around him were taller, stronger, and richer. They called him trash because he lived among it. They called him trash because humans had no patron empire. They called him trash because it was easier than seeing a child. Every cycle, he was given work, sorting, dragging, dismantling. He worked without complaint, not because he was obedient, because observation was safer than resistance. Humans watched. That was their secret. He watched the overseers. He watched the machines. He watched what others ignored. He noticed that some scrap containers were sealed twice. He noticed that certain crates were rerouted through Sector 7 before leaving the station. He noticed that drones avoided one corridor entirely. When he asked questions, he was beaten. So he stopped asking. Instead, he remembered. Years passed. The child became a boy. The boy became thin but sharp. His hands were scarred. His eyes were calm. One day something different arrived. It was a crate marked in dead script. Old script. Galactic Founders era. The overseers grew nervous. They ordered it dumped in Sector 7 without scanning. That was unusual. The boy noticed. The crate was heavy but not large. It emitted no radiation, no heat, no signals. At night, when the overseers left, he pried it open with tools. He had hidden for years. Inside was gold. Not normal gold, galactic gold, pure compressed value units. Currency from the first interstellar age. Each ingot was worth more than a modern station. The boy stared at it in silence. Then he closed the crate. He did not take anything. That was the second human secret. Patience over. The next cycles more crates appeared, always routed through Sector 7, always unscanned, always sealed. The boy opened them. All gold. Archives, data cores, star maps, ownership seals. He began to understand. Someone was laundering ancient assets through forgotten stations, and Sector 7 was invisible enough to hide it. He began to copy data. Slowly, carefully, he used discarded processors to build a private system. He taught himself galactic law from fragments. He learned ownership protocols older than most species. He learned a dangerous truth, according to founders. Law, salvage claimed by an unchallenged sentient, became legal property, and no one had challenged him, because he was trash. Years later, a corporate auditor arrived. The station buzzed with fear. Audits meant fines. Fines meant executions. The auditor entered Sector 7 and wrinkled his face. What is this smell? The overseer bowed. Waste sector. Only trash lives here. The auditor paused. Trash that moves. He saw the human. Explain. He sawed scrap. Nothing more. The auditor looked. Closer, the human met his gaze without fear. That unsettled him. Do you know what you handle? Yes. The auditor laughed. You would not understand. The human spoke calmly. I understand Founders, Salvage Clause 8. Silence fell that the overseer froze. The auditor stiffened. That clause is obsolete. Is still valid under interstellar common law. The human stepped forward. I claim ownership of all unchallenged assets processed through Sector 7 for the last 12 cycles. The overseer shouted. Kill him. The security drones did not move. The auditor raised a hand slowly. Prove it. The human activated his system. Data flooded the air. Timestamps. Transfer logs. Founders' seals. Witness records. The station itself confirmed the claim. Legal. Ownership recognized. The value counter began to climb. 10 trillion. 50 trillion. 100 trillion. By the time the counter stopped, the number was unthinkable. 300 trillion galactic gold. The overseer collapsed. The auditor swallowed. The human stood straight. For the first time in his life. What is your name? The auditor asked. Quietly the human thought. He had not used it in years. My name is Elias. Within one cycle, the story spread. Trash child owned more wealth than entire empires. Governments panicked. Corporations begged. Pirates plotted. Elias left the station aboard a ship he legally owned through salvage. A ship older than most civilizations. A ship built by humans. That was the third secret. Humans never truly vanished. The ship responded to his DNA. Its systems awakened. Welcome home. The galaxy watched in disbelief. A species once dismissed had returned through paperwork and patience. Eli did not seek revenge. He invested. He bought food stations. He bought medical routes. He bought debt. He erased the chains of forgotten worlds. Everywhere he went, the same pattern followed. Humans had been there. Before cleaning, fixing, observing, always ignored. Now noticed. At a galactic summit, an elder species representative asked him a question. Why did you endure? Elias answered. Simply, because humans adapt. The representative asked again. Why not rule? Elias smiled. Because trash piles become foundations. Years later, children across the galaxy studied his story. A human child called Trash. Who became the richest sentient alive. And they learned the most dangerous lesson of all. Never underestimate what survives the discard. Because humans always do. Asterisk.